Hello, and thanks for tuning in to today's matchup. Hope you've been enjoying your Sunday, and as for today's match, we have Swift Uprising facing off against Hated Knights here on Bank. We're going to see Swift Uprising take the side of attack first. This is a map where it can really swing either way depending on the performance of either team, so nothing too critical there to see them on attack first, as to where Villa or other maps might give you a bit of a scare. We're going to see Thatcher get taken off the board first here. A pretty interesting pick from Hated Knights, but maybe hoping to keep those hatches closed a bit longer, or just deny any hard breach for as long as possible. There's Maverick from Swift Uprising. So if they do utilize a Kaid on some of those hatches on the basement hold, it's going to make it a lot harder for the attacking team to get in now, especially with the Maverick off the board. We'll see them take the Mira out as well, as she can be extremely useful on that basement site. So, not too surprised by that pick. And for the final pick from Hated Knights, we're going to see Maestro. So that's a good bit of intel that is typically gets used on that basement site as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens down there, as that is a pretty favored site for defenders to head to. Or will they be investing a lot more stock in these top floor sites, either tellers and or office upstairs? No, we're going to see him head down into lockers CC first. We do see the Kaid coming out from the defense here, which they will definitely be looking to deny hatches for as long as possible with that utility. And with any luck, they're going to be able to do so pretty successfully, as Maverick is off the board, so that takes away most of their options to get rid of those, actually. Those Electro Claws can be quite useful for the defense when Thatcher is not available. See IQ switch to the Capital, as he can be extremely useful for a site execute coming from server. Provide fireballs to deny anybody playing within red possibly, and or the smoke to cover the planter. They do have a pulse. You will typically see pulse playing within gold. Somewhere just to call out for his team the position of the attackers making their way into server, as it is pretty typical that they will try and do so, but they are going to have a few roamers playing in server. Nice shield placement there. Those shields can be extremely hard to work around for the attackers. But they do have an Ash, so they might be able to dispatch those pretty quickly, and we're going to see them play at the top of Blue Stair as well. This has been made pretty popular in recent competitive play, just to leave your defender alone on that stair and to see what he can do with the shotguns, as once it comes to those close quarter gunfights with an SMG-11 and a shotgun, it is extremely hard for the attackers to make their way forward. We're going to see them start off with a top floor clear. Is an unexpected. This is a pretty roam heavy map, so in order to gain control of that first floor safely, you're gonna have to clear out the roamers before you can do so.
Fresh bag going in.
As Jackal looks to make his way in with the Inox ready to go, checking for any footsteps, seeing if anybody has recently came through the second floor here. But it seems as though that second floor will be clear, so they're going to start pushing in through open area and hopefully get Thermite to work on some of this hard breach. We are seeing a pretty efficient clear at this point, as we're just 2 minutes in. They do have control over that first floor. As they actually, I'm not sure if they are aware of the position of the player on first floor. It looks like they might have somebody stationed there. Nope, that was just the smoke playing on Blue Stair. But they're going to get inside, quickly run into the electro-clawed hatches, and we will see what they decide to do next. I'm going to see them burn some utility, trying to get rid of the ADSs on those stairs, as if those are up, they're pretty much going to have to funnel straight into that choke point, which is not favorable for the attackers whatsoever. So they're going to have to burn those ADSs, and I believe they had two, so it's going to cost them a good bit of utility to do so. Alright, we're going to see Hibana get red hatch open. Hop back on the drone here, so trying to get any intel on that player, but it looks like they might have even taken out their own drone. I'm not too sure. We have Jackal pushing down the stairs here. Our main stair, that's actually a rather aggressive play, but a good choke point for the attackers, trying to catch anybody rotating into that B bomb site, or just through elevator in general. We have seen really solid drone work from the attackers here, so they're not overextending on this push until they get the proper intel. We are going to see Capital trying to make his way into server, and they do have somebody positioned behind the server rack there, and he's not aware of it. He's going to look the wrong way at the wrong moment, and that's going to be an easy kill for Velocity as they have one more player pushing down the stair here, and that's going to be 3 on the round for Velocity, showing how impressive that SMG-11 actually is in those close quarter situations. And that's going to be a huge round for him as the Habana gets taken out by a hot tub. The TCSG is no pushover either, and that's going to be a very solid, flawless round for Hated Knights on the basement objective there. As the bans definitely did aid them for that site setup, so we're going to see him head up into Executive CEO. Now, this is a common pick between that site and the site on the first floor for tellers and archives. Either one of them being very viable if played properly. Alright, so we aren't going to see any Kaidas. There's no need. There's very little hard destruction on the, well, for the skylight at least, they are not looking to hard deny, I guess. If those walls do get opened up, which the attackers definitely will be looking to do so, it could be pretty pivotal.
Attackers need to
Because once they get those lines of sight opened up from the second floor skylight, it's really hard to move around in office and in lounge. And the attackers have definitely brought enough utility to deal with those walls as well. They do have an Echo on the board, so if he's able to position those yokais properly, it could aid them in shutting out a take onto that A site in office. Some rotates opened up into A as well from Janitor's Closet. They're even going to open up the hatch in case they need to quickly escape from a push coming from the hallway just outside of Janitor's and Skylight. They reinforce front desk and barricade those windows to stop anybody from getting any easy shots looking from parking garage as well. We'll more than likely see the attackers prep to open up that skylight, get the hard breach in, and start taking control over the east side of the second floor. We see them dedicating quite a few bodies over to that area already. They're going to have some angles opened up on the top here. This will probably be used to impact trick any hard breach utility that gets used right away. There is always the potential to get some use out of those impact grenades on a site like this. They will have to be careful as that is a two-way street, but there are no grenades on the side of the attack. So, at least in that sense, they will be safe. Alright, the attackers start to make their way into the second floor skylight now. They are going to look to get an exothermic on this wall to get that hole opened up, and I'm not sure if the castle is aware, so this might actually get off. He's going to go up. Nope. Nice impact trick from the castle there, and he's going to deny one exothermic, and he's going to go ahead and place this one on the floor to stop it. I do believe it might be out of range at that point. We're going to see, yep, and this exothermic is going to be successful as the impact trick was just slightly out of range and unable to get that pick, and Vito's going to find a kill onto the Jaeger now. And that's going to be the opening pick that the attackers need, especially with the sites getting opened up at the same point. That's going to give them a good bit of map control onto A now. They're going to have to dispatch a player playing within Janitors, and I believe that's going to be the Smoke. So if they don't get the intel on him, he could make a pretty big play on the attackers there. It's like they are aware of his position. They're pre-firing, but little do they know he's just laying down. Jackal's going to be peeking on over, though. If he were to just push over into Janitors and peek, he might be able to grab the kill onto the Smoke, but it looks like Ash is currently working on that. She pre-fires into Conference, not finding anything as the Smoke is laying down just behind the rack there. Vito's going to find the kill onto the Smoke, and Trevmark finds one as well, but Velocity is going to trade out Jet Hunter. So we are looking at a 3v2, and that's actually Echo finding another kill onto Barry. And another kill onto Vito. That's 2 for the Echo at this point, and things are looking extremely doable for the defense, but not before Saba is able to find a kill on the Ash, as well That's finding the last kill there. That's going to be 2 in the final moments of that round to close this one out for Swift Uprising. Nice sight take there as they were able to get the wall opened up pretty early on and find a pick from the player on rappel. Vito definitely getting a few frags there that shaped the opening push on that round. And the Ash pulling through in the end to grab the victory. So we're going to see them head to Executive CEO once more as they probably feeling pretty confident. We will see teams stick to their guns here and just try to make a slight adjustment in the way of holding that site, and hopefully they'll be able to find some success. As we see a pretty similar lineup coming from the attackers here and from the defenders as well. So in order for this site to work out for them, they're going to have to make sure that they have a little bit of pressure coming from that hallway, I think, because the attackers had control over Stock and Janitor all pretty early on, which made it relatively easy for them to get the wall opened up. Once they figured out the castle was tricking, they just set up the hard breach out of the radius of the impact grenade. And it was pretty much an easy take from there, though it was shaped by the kills coming out the rappel.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Very nice execute from Swift Uprising.
5 seconds to go. Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
You see the castle barricades on front desk as well. Actually, they have closed off all the angles from front desk other than the windows there. They could be opened up for anybody playing on parking garage, but other than that, they're going to have to use some utility to open up those angles, which I do like to see that, as it gives them a bit of a feeling of safety as they can focus more on that east side push coming from the attackers, as they were pretty dedicated to it last time. So seeing them very quickly open up the top floor skylight here and in Stock, as the thermite will work on droning forward for them. We're going to see the Ash push in, start to take a little bit of map control here. They will have to be wary of the player on first floor, as it looks like they have dedicated a little bit of a roam, possibly for a late flank there. We're going to see Hatta playing an extremely aggressive position in Stock here. And if he's not careful, this is going to be an easy pick. He tosses the C4 out, but falls short, not doing any, or doing a bit of damage actually on Albon. He's going to find a kill anyways with the P10 Roni. Very nice headshot coming out of Stock from the Mozzie there, but Vito is going to answer that with a frag of his own, and that's going to be Swimmer off the board. The Jaeger is down now, so with Hot Tub off the board, that's going to be 2 players off of the roam, I do believe, and give them a good bit of map control, as they've got a minute and a half left now with a good bit of utility to play with.
A bomb has been located.
All right, that's a really nice run out or jump out from Velocity there. He's going to even this out a bit. Though the attackers are aware of his position coming in through main lobby here, I don't think they have anybody in an area where they can make a play off this. So he's going to be able to rotate back up to site safely. And he's going to even it up for his team. Really smart play on the end of Velocity. And we're going to see the wall get opened up at this point. A minute left, 3v3. This is really anybody's round. The attacking team is slightly stalled out, maybe worried about a flank coming out the bottom end of Skylight there. So they do recover the diffuser and prep for the side execute. See them drone in and grab the last bit of intel they can get before they make this push. Jet Hunter is going to be looking for the kill onto the player within Janitor, but they do have a castle barricade there. So if he's not careful, they're going to be able to get the toes, and he is a very, very low, sitting at about 5 health at this point. The player within Janitor's Closet is prepped, waiting for another peek at those feet. So he will safely rotate back over to the walls that have been opened up by the thermite. They have 2 lanes that they can fire from now. We're going to see them push in. Trevmark's going to find a big kill there. It's going to put him in a 3v2 as he pushes forward in through Lounge, looking for the player in front desk. Lamp goes off. He's not going to find the player in front desk. Echo is going to be peeking into Lounge. But we are looking at a 1v2, and with the timer at 0, the defenders are more than likely going to be able to find this kill, and that's going to be Gojin on the smoke, finding the final kill as Ash tried to get the bomb off the SMG-11. That's going to put us at 2-1. So they were able to make the proper adjustments there in order to hold Executive CEO. So Probably see them move down to lockers and CC again, actually. As they were able to hold this site successfully in the first round due to a pretty big play from Velocity. I believe he had a 3K in the first round with Smoke playing on the blue stair and within server. So they see success with him again. At that rate, it'll be hard for the attackers to find the win here, but they are probably expecting that strategy, and we'll see what kind of adjustments they make. They are going to bring some nades this time that could definitely aid them in flushing him out of the blue stair if need be. But it was a flawless round in the first round for Hated Knights, so let's see if they are able to emulate that success as they head here for the second time. There was very, very little roam dedication last time they went to this site. I'm interested to see if they will have anybody roaming this time. The rumors were shut down pretty early in that last round though, so they will have to be a bit more effective if they
5 seconds remaining.
want to change the tide of this round for their team.
Attackers must locate and defuse
I said they weren't dedicating much to the roam game last time. It doesn't look like they're going to do so this time either. They're going to have the Smoke playing on blue stair and Jaeger playing within server. This is a pretty solid setup as he'll probably be watching for anybody coming from dirt and maybe be able to apply a little pressure onto that hatch for any attackers pushing it in through main lobby to dispatch that Smoke off blue stair. We do see the attackers waste no time getting in on the second floor as they look to clear out these top floors and secure their push a little bit as they make their way forward in this round. They will probably quickly realize that they have nobody playing up here on the first or second floor, get in towards site and start working on any utility. He does catch some tracks here. Was probably just from the attackers grabbing, or defenders grabbing hatches though. And with the pulse rework, that isn't going to give him too much in the way of scans as that was a little bit ago. We are at a minute into this round at this point. And we are going to see them start working on the open area hatches. Now it seems as though the defenders are a lot less worried about that red hatch. I believe they have been dedicating the Electro Claws to CC hatch.
by attackers.
They are now have the Sledge looking in towards server. He could possibly get this nade, but there is an ADS down there as expected, protecting the Jaeger from getting flushed out of that spot. That's going to be another nade off the board for the attackers there. It's going to be a lot harder for them to get rid of these defenders now. They're going to dedicate a lot of utilities. Ash drops down through Vault. But there's going to be a C4, and I believe that's going to get both the Ash. Oh, no, the Ash is actually going to be okay as she made her way in through sight. Jackal does go down from Gojin with the TCSG, though, as he's looking into elevator, looking for a second kill. A very, very aggressive play from the attackers here as Ash just dropped down the hatch. Thermite followed in suit, but was taken by the C4. Ash is going to make her way into Vault, looking to put some pressure on the player within gold here. Pulse knows the push is coming. He tries to lay in prone to catch the attacker off guard, but that's going to be Saba with a double kill there. But now in control on red. Looks like both players are positioned within CC. This is going to be very hard. As Vito finds a kill, but Swimmer trades one back out, and that's Barry with one of his own onto Jaeger. And now we're looking at 2v1 as the attackers grab control over B site and look to get the plant down. Few shots coming out from the player within CC as Ash does get aggressive, looking to grab the pick here, and she's unable to as we look at a 1v1 now with Velocity playing on the smoke and a very low timer. Hibana's either going to have to commit to the plant or the kill. She goes for the kill, but she's actually able to find it. What a play as the smoke tried to safely tuck in behind the wall, but just not enough room for him to safely take cover there. Well done by Barry on the Hibana there to make the decision to not go for the plant on 00 timer there, as that would have inevitably gone the way of the defenders. Nice job, and we are looking at a 2-2 now. They head back down to CC lockers. So it seems as though Swift Uprising knew what adjustments they needed to make, and even though with the Sledge coming out there, they weren't able to find the nades to flush out the defenders playing within server in blue. They quickly adjusted to that vault push, which actually really worked out in their favor. They had the Bonnet come down main stairs, find a pick onto Jaeger in the later part of that round, and that gave them control over B. Though that was a nail biter, as we were looking at a 1v1 that really was anybody's game in the final seconds there. We're going to see them switch pick onto the sledge once again, as he'll probably look to use those nades a bit more effectively this round. An interesting seeing Goyo planted as well. Had to pay attention to where he places those volcanoes in order to deny any attackers. I believe it does 5 to 10 seconds in that area of denial. And it could also put damage on any players who are standing too close upon ignition. So, very effective utility.
5 seconds left.
As it does take some form of stop breach to dispatch those.
Locate a bomb and defuse it.
We're going to see all 3 of the defenders stationed within the basement here once again. So they're going to have the Jaeger and the smoke playing on blue to really kind of hold it down, at least on that side of entry. The attackers will more than likely make their way on the second floor. Been consistent on the room clear, which is nice to see, as if you do get a bit lazy on that or become used to whatever the defenders have brought in the rounds prior, they could be easily caught off guard. So they're sticking to consistency, and that is nice to see on the side of Swift Uprising, as that is going to ensure safety as they make their way in for a side execute. They already have open area control. We are a minute in. They've realized that this is all safe. They're going to start getting to work with that utility, try to find the same success that they were able to find last round. They'll probably open up those elevator hatches and open area as well. As we see Habana making her way in with the X-Kairos pellets now to do so, she's going to head right on over to elevator.
Clearing the way.
And we're going to see them start getting to work on the player within blue here, and it's going to take them quite a few pieces of utility to do so, but it looks like they already have flushed the smoke out, and he's going to rotate into server, and that's when we see Jaeger push back off in through CC. Really like that rotate that they have going on. It's worked out pretty well for them at this point, but the attackers did pretty much just ignore it. We're going to see Sledge toss a nade on to the shield, I believe. Oh, but he's actually unable to find it. I did hear it go off, but we're going to see Saba get a kill, and that's going to be velocity off the board. So the player behind server rack is no more, and that's going to give them control over server. Should make it a lot easier for them to prep for a side execute into CC now. Jaeger will be playing first floor elevator though. Or sorry, basement elevators. It looks like they might have the Jackal pushing down main stair again. Yes, he is, but they do have a player dedicated to that. But does the player on garage ramp aware? He is so closely around the corner from this player, and he's gonna see him, sees the gun first, peeks around, got an easy headshot, spots the player on computer card there.
15 seconds to go.
And he picks over into the player on red from ramp. That's gonna be a double kill on the round for Jackal. He's going to look to be a thorn in the side for the defenders here as they look to retake this site at a 4v2. It's looking very unlikely, as that's 3 on the round for Jackal. He's just playing terrorist hunt at this point, but he's going to get taken down by the Goyo, but he will be swiftly traded back from the player on top of red hatch, and that's going to be the attackers taking this round, and we're going to be looking at a 3v2. Alright folks, it looks like we will be seeing a rehost here, so give us just a moment and we will be right back with you shortly. All right, thanks for hanging in there with us, folks. We are back after that short break, getting the rehost together. As we head on to the final round of this half, we're going to see Swift Uprising at 3-2. As they are going to look to put themselves at a 4-2, but we will see Hated Knights look to even that out as they head into the attacking side of things. They head back up into Executive Lounge, CEO. This site has gone both ways for the attackers and defenders, so let's see what kind of adjustments they bring out on each side of these teams to grab themselves a potential victory. We see the Jackal's 6th pick onto the Jackal there, just looking to keep things fresh or possibly keep the defenders on their toes, hiding a bit of their utility from them for as long as possible. See some similar rotates get opened up by the defense here. They've effectively barricaded off the front desk once again. Looks like they're going to roll with a very similar strat. Definitely have a good bit of confidence in that. They're actually going to reinforce that wall on janitors though, which the Smoke has been playing tucked on for a better part of a lot of these rounds. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of damage he's able to do onto those attackers after they've breached open those walls, if they find any success with the hard breach.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
We're going to see Hot Tub play pretty aggressive within stock again, as he already has the window opened up and the drop down ready if he needs to get away with a nice escape. That'll give him the option to drop down into open area, possibly live to fight another day. We're going to see Swimmer roaming for the defense here on the first floor this time around. They're definitely going to need the roamers to find a bit of success in warding off the attackers in the earlier stages of this round, as they've been able to grab second floor control pretty quickly. So the last time they came here, they'd get stalled out a good chunk of the round, and it took the Thermite a good while before he was able to get those walls opened up, I do believe. So they are going to be aware of them. Ozzy playing within stock. He will be playing this pretty aggressively once again, hiding behind soft cover here. He's just narrow on the edge of falling down that hatch. He's going to hear the utility get prepped. He's going to go ahead and opt to drop down, make his way back up south main stair. Put a little bit of presence in the hallway for the defenders here as the attackers look to make their way in on the second floor within stock and sky. You see Ash has already made her way in through stock hallway. She's now by the vending machines. Gonna need to be careful though, as Mozzie is playing the south main stair, and if she is not prepped and ready, he might find an easy kill onto the attackers in the hallway here. Looks like Anna is watching for the Jaeger, and he is stationed within archives, so we're gonna see him send a few rounds out, but he's gonna back off wisely behind the Predator here, as they do have Jackal on the first floor firing into archives as well. He's gonna look to continue to keep up that pressure on the defender to at least negate him from making his way back to site anytime soon. See Ash take a gunfight onto Velocity, or no, that's actually Kojin on the Smoke, and he's going to win that one out and send the canister out to soak up that kill. Nice job on his end, but he will get taken out, and Janitors finally. That's going to be Vito finding the kill, and that's one for IQ on this round. We're looking at 4v4 with 40 seconds left. They do have a bit of time to get their drones in here, grab a bit of intel, and maybe get to work with some of this utility in the final stages of this round. They're going to spot out the Mozzie on South Main Stair. And that will be Jet Hunter finding the kill onto the Mozzie. He's been pretty effective in pressuring these roamers here. Nice job on the side of the Jackal. He's going to make his way up South Main now. And Barry finds a pick onto Twisty. That's the Echo off the board, so a lot of plant now gone there. Those Yokai's will just be cameras looking to spot. Now there's 2 kills on the round for Jackal as he looks over into Banana. Rebound a few rounds into front desk. More than likely they're going to get the plant down, as Habana was already hard at work. This should be an easy sight hold for them, as it's Jaeger versus the world. And he would have to climb quite the mountain to find victory on this round at this point. He's going to find 1 kill onto the Jackal though, and he's going to head down the hallway, spots the Habana, and actually grabs a nice kill onto Barry. That's going to be a really nice headshot coming up from the Jaeger there as he looks to push on into sight. Now he's got to be aware of the rappel, and unless he jumps out, really no hope for him at this point. He's gonna get the pings. He knows they're playing outside and that this is really unwinnable, so he goes ahead and hops out, grabs a couple easy kills, or at least one, but not before the IQ is able to trade him out on his way to the ground. It's gonna be a 4-2 for this half. Nice job by Swift Uprising to give themselves an advantage as they head into the defending side of things, as that was overall just a pretty textbook execute from the attackers. They had a player downstairs effectively handling the roam game and at least making it very hard for them to make their way around that first floor safely, as they put a good bit of resources onto that second floor skylight to get the hard breach opened up that they needed. Just grab control over janitor, and from there they were able to get an easy plant down and just hold it off from the Jaeger. So nice execute on their end. Now we get to see what Hated Knights will bring on the side of attack. They will be bringing Habana and Thermite, as it is pretty typical these days to see the attacking team bring both.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
To bring both the hard breaches, as you can be left in high water if you lose one of those breachers early on.
Bomb located by attackers.
Thankfully, we didn't see a band operator get picked there. My apologies, as I forgot to place the bands after the rehost, but thankfully we've got some nice members on each side of the teams here, making sure that they aren't going to pick any of those operators and keep this a fair matchup without another rehost. So thank you to both the teams for that.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Now let's see if Swift Uprising is looking to dedicate to the roam, because as I said, Hated Knights really didn't. They left it to everybody within that basement floor and just held the proper angles for any attackers coming down on the site. They did find success on a few of those rounds, so hard to knock it. But we're going to see them play a bit more aggressive. We see the Vigil playing within open area here, and I believe the Mozzie in Teller's office as well. Ella placed on blue stair here with her recent buff. She's going to probably see a lot more use now for some of these fragging players, and especially in these tight corner situations, as that Scorpion Evo just melts at over 1,000 rounds per minute. It's quite hard to beat. We do see the Mozzie setting up for a pretty dedicated roam within Teller's office here, and he's probably going to be able to support the Ella on that blue stair as well if he so chooses to push through archives. The grenades do come out and they don't have any ADSs on that stair. That's going to be a lot harder for her to hold it. That strat does kind of sit on the side of those ADSs from Jaeger, but Saba able to pick up a kill supporting the player on blue stair. As I had said before, it looks like the rotate came from staff room though that time, rather than the player from within Tellers and archives. But we do see the echo go down early as well, so those yokai drones will not be effective for any. What a shot, Saba. Wow, just narrowly catching the head of the Ash, I believe, making her way down Skylight Stair. That was an absolutely beautiful shot above the plants there. And he's going to make his way back into open area and look to cause a little bit more havoc for this attacking team as they make their way in at the halfway point of this round. The attackers are looking to make sure that they cleared out the roamers of this top floor at least, as they've already ran into quite a bit of conflict on that first floor and lost a good bit of utility as well. Those entry fraggers are out of the way now. That'll be another off the board, as we're going to see the Zofia fall to Barry. He is able to find a kill. The TCSG there. And that's going to put this at 4v2. The attackers have gotten very little work done in the way of utility, and this is going to be very hard for them to piece together at this point, as they haven't even found access into the building. We're going to see them try to sew together anything they possibly can. Now, 40 seconds here. They're both going to push into garage and maybe at least catch these defenders off guard with the reassessed push. More than likely, they will have somebody watching the garage ramp here, though. There's somebody playing deep within red, watching that angle through the hole there, it seems. And that is going to be the Goyo, so he is definitely the right operator to have in that position, as he's got the ACOG on there. Preps him for long-range fights, but doesn't matter, as Jet Hunter and Trevmark are able to piece together the final 2 kills to give Swift Uprising their first win on defense. That's going to put them at 5-2. And that is the type of momentum you'd like to build on the defending side for this map. The CC Lockers is definitely one of the more defender-sided maps, or one of the defender-sided site options for them. And we're going to see Teller's Archives for the first time in this matchup. So this will be fun to watch, as we've mainly seen them bounce back and forth between Executive CEO and CC. We're going to see a lot of denial coming out from Swift Uprising. Okay, there we go. We see a switch pick onto the Jaeger, which his ADSs can be pretty crucial for denying any utility coming in from those windows and or coming in over the walls of the hard breach there.
Attackers need to locate
My apologies, coming in on that first floor. So used to seeing these these teams go up to that top floor site, I almost forgot we were heading to Teller's Archives office. We're gonna see them open up this wall here. So that is pretty typical, because you can get some pretty nice angles from the top or bottom of the south main stair, looking onto the default plant there behind the money bag. But they will reinforce the wall sitting behind printer. They're going to castle barricade these doors as well, it seems, which is going to cause the attackers to have to put a good bit of utility into that Teller's push if they're looking to find any headway there.
5 seconds remaining.
We will see them dedicate a little bit of a soft roam in this admin office as they've created a rotate through Teller's, and they've opened up the drop down into the basement. Both teams have been utilizing nice rotations and drop downs in this matchup to take those engagements earlier on and then fall back as needed to consolidate more towards site in the later parts of the round and keep those attackers out of there for as long as possible. It's definitely something you're going to see on the side of more coordinated teams, as they will dedicate a lot to those rounds, but they know when to properly make their way back to site to support their anchors. We're going to see them prep this castle barricade in case they need to make any quick flanks into the main lobby here, as the attackers look to take control over this top floor earlier on in this round. It's just a minute and they're already going to get to work on some soft breach, and that's a good pace for them. We're going to open up some angles looking into admin. That's going to make it hard for them to rotate through admin into archives now. They're going to be aware of the player within open. So he just sent a few rounds through admin office, it sounds. It'll actually be Mozzie with the P10 Roni. And they will have to be careful playing around him, as that gun can be quite a pass if in the right hands. Alright, Zofia will more than likely start getting to work on some of these castle barricades with the lifeline. Just narrowly unable to shoot the bulletproof cam there, though, as the calls do go out from the defenders. He's gonna walk up and go ahead and melee that camera. Get rid of a little bit of intel, but we're going to see Jet Hunter get a C4 and another kill with the SMG-11. What a big play on his end. It looks like that was coming out of archives. A Hot Tub finds a kill of his own, but Vito is not going to let that go unanswered. And Velocity is going to pick off Barry. So just a flurry of kills there, and we're looking at 3v2 now. The defenders are mostly situated on site, one within elevators, watching the angle onto default plant here. The defender's able to come out on top in those trades. Really what you like to see on their end. They had the proper players in position to make sure that they came out on top of all those frags. But Hot Tub's able to find one and even this back out, though the defenders are sitting at full health. This is looking much more doable for the attackers, as Nomad slowly creeps in through Teller's office, looking into archives, hoping to catch any defenders off guard as they make their way around site here. But we do have the Legion playing pretty closely by, and that's Trademark finding an extremely nice shot onto the Nomad. We're looking at 1v2 now. They do have control over A site, so they just have to make sure they keep eyes on B, and with the timer running low, this is looking pretty much undoable unless Twitch just runs in searching for the frags. She's going to find one on the player looking through the rotate. Legion's just going to have to sit still. Is he going to be able to hold it out? And yes, the pre-fires come in, and he gets the Twitch, and that's going to be another win for Swift Uprising, putting them at 6-2 match points off of Teller's Archives. So that was an extremely close round. The defenders just very narrowly being on top in those team trades there, putting them in an advantage in the final moments of the round. Big kill coming out from the Twitch to even things up there, but nonetheless, Trevmark found the kill onto the Nomad, and that just gave them the site control that they needed and the player count that they needed to hold on to that victory in that round. We aren't seeing either team stray too far from their original lineups. Pick onto the mute. His mute was extremely effective in that last round for them. Not surprised to see him go back. Echo. So a good bit of utility, especially with the castle and the mute Mozzie setup. That's going to deny a good bit of droning for the attackers, which makes them peek a lot more of these angles blind, which definitely put the defenders in a favored angle or position to win the gunfight. As an attacker, you never like to get caught face checking too many angles as you make your way into the building. Jaeger get played on this side as he is very crucial to keep utility coming out from over top of those walls and or through windows. Castle coming out again to board up this front desk area. We've seen this quite a bit. He's even going to board up one of those north rappel windows, as that position is extremely strong for the attackers and almost vital if they look to have any success. This is a kind of site where you have to push from multiple angles, which when done properly, it can be extremely lethal, but if the defenders are able to isolate any of those picks early on, can fall apart very quickly. We're going to see Swimmer head in through the basement really early on. Maybe catch some of these defenders playing on the first floor off guard. They do have Jaeger positioned within open area, and Saba has been playing pretty well, so they're going to dispatch him early on. They look to have any success upstairs. Looks like Echo will be playing the elevator hall, and he's actually going to get picked from the player coming out of stock hallway, or just main hallway. That's IQ with a pick, and then Swimmer's going to find one of his own onto Jaeger. That's exactly what needed to happen. Now they've gotten rid of the roamer on that first floor, and they got to be feeling pretty comfortable as they make their way into this site execute, as IQ is just going to look into site and find another pick onto Barry. That's a huge double kill for Hot Tub on this round, as the IQ is playing very, very well. Nearly getting picked there though, but we are looking at 5v2, so they'd have to make quite a few mistakes to not come up on top with this body count leaning in their favor. One of the defenders playing close on the window there, but the player behind couch is going to be taken out by Swimmer. 2 on the round for him. The IQ and the Ash having a heyday as they look to find maybe one more kill to tally things up, and that's going to be Twisty finding the final kill onto Jet Hunter though. Nice kill from the Thermite, and that's going to be a flawless round for the attackers, and that's the kind of plays that you need if you look to swing this back in your favor after losing the first 2 rounds on defense. Or on attack, sorry. But we are still sitting at match point, so this is going to be a very difficult task for them to piece together. But with the way that round went, it definitely looks possible. Ash finding that pick onto Jaeger early on, as well as the Echo getting picked off and getting rid of a lot of that plant denial. I'm not sure why they didn't have anybody positioned in Sky or within near stock hallway or along those lines, or at least had some type of intel to let him know that they were in. It seems like he was completely clueless as to the attacker playing that position. And then from there, things just fell apart as the Jaeger went down and the attackers just situated themselves around the site. With multiple pinches, it was an easy win.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
We head back into Lockers CC. So we saw them find a pretty decisive win on this site, I do believe, their first time here. See the Goyo again, so he'll be playing some of those longer angles. He was holding off players, possibly pushing from garage and into CC from server. Let's see, bulletproof cam get. Actually, they're investing a lot of utility onto this first floor again. Did them goes off the office there. That is a common entry point for attackers, and they will often open up that wall as you can get some pretty deep angles looking into open area and staff. Jet Hunter will be placed on that blue stair again, looking to deal damage with that Scorpio, but it was quite hard for her to find success, I believe, the first time around, as they were able to just toss a few nades, dispatch that shield pretty quickly. But actually, with the roam game coming in, they found support, so if they're able to find the support off that roam game again, that they did earlier on, then they're going to be okay. But if the attackers are able to flush out that player on blue prior to support arriving, it could very easily go the way of the attackers. Defenders didn't bring anything such as Kaid either, so the attackers are just going to be able to open up the hatches at will once they do gain control over this open area admin office. Going to see them make their way in through main lobby as Ash works to open up the barricade leading into elevators. Give themselves a little bit more mobility as they make their way around this first floor to clear out the roamers. Drones do come out. They're more likely aware of the players within the open area and on blue. But nonetheless, Vigil is going to find a nice pick on the velocity looking through the hatch. It's a Nomad off the board and possibly some flank denial off the board as well. So I'm unsure as to whether or not she was able to find any success with those air jabs, but that's going to be Hot Tub finding a double kill onto Treadmark and Saba. So just like that, both the roamers off the board, and they do have first floor control. It's time to get to work with that utility, and they have plenty of time to do so. Now this is still very winnable for the defenders, as this is a strong site for plant denial, especially when you have ops on the board such as Goyo and Echo. Being in a 4v3 is not the end of the world, but they will have to play this very well if they look to find the victory on this round. And they are definitely looking to do so, as they still sit on match point as 6-3. They only have a few more rounds to play with before Hated Knights make their way back into an even matchup and possibly take this one into overtime. We're going to see Hot Tub slowly make his way down blue stair, peeking for anybody playing behind server rack. There is one there, but whether he is aware of it, I'm unsure. The drone does come out. He's going to send us some shots back behind server rack, but actually gets picked off. Or a trade comes out from Jet Hunter and onto Hot Tub. So nice job. We're looking at 3v2, 2v2 now with Vito finding a pick on the Swimmer. The plant's going down right in front of them in Red Hall. I don't think they're aware of it. Thermite just needs to play this one safe and possibly back out, but he's unable to, and he gets picked off as he tries to rotate out of CC, which can be very dangerous as we just saw. So we're going to see Sledge as the final attacker here. He's playing on top of Hatch and finds the pick on the red. This is a very, very advantageous position for the Sledge here, as the defender is going to have to push a pretty tight angle in order to find any victory. They send a few nades out there, not even prime him, just to make sure he denies that area as long as possible. But at the time running out, it looks like this one's going to go the way of the attackers once again, and we're going to be looking at a 6-4. So Hated Knights coming out a bit weak in the beginning of this half, but turning things around rather quickly as they take 2 victories in a row on attack. Really nice site execute once again. Nice job by the IQ getting the trade there too, as if she would have fell without grabbing that trade, things could have gone drastically different for the attackers. We head to Lockers CC once again. This is the site that they feel they can shut this matchup down with, so they head back with a very similar setup. They will need those roamers to stay alive a little bit longer though if they look to find success downstairs, because with the roamers getting taken out that early in the round, it just left the attackers with too much time to set up their angles around site and get use out of their utility. But like I said, a lot of that did come down to the trade within server there, as if the defenders were able to hold server control for a little bit longer, that plant's not going down within CC, and they probably won that round, honestly. See them dedicate a lot of reinforcements and utility up into this first floor hold again. Vigil will need to be careful, as they are going to be expecting these roamers this time, and they are bringing the exact same setup. So
attackers are moving out to
a
locate
bit
a bomb and defuse it.
like a few Russian teams that you might watch in Pro League, that they're going to run the same setup, they're confident in it, and they're going to have the attackers peek these angles knowingly. Be interesting to see how this round goes. But it is nice to see that kind of confidence coming out from teams. They know their strat, and they do have the poise behind it to make it work. So we'll see what they can do here heading into possibly the final round of this matchup. He's going to do a little damage onto the Thermite. That was a really nice angle looking through the floor there. He tags and brings the thermite down to about 75 health. Though that does give away his position within open area, though I said already, they were probably already aware of that due to, dare I say, the repetitiveness of their setup. But if it works, don't fix it.
Bullseye got us a drone. Sweet as grabbed us a drone direct.
We're going to see the attackers start getting some info on these players within first floor here, so it looks like they're pretty dedicated to that main lobby take. We're going to see Ash send a few pre-fires looking into archives. Not going to do any damage onto anybody, but the defenders are aware of their position now. As the engagements are on their way, we're going to see them push into open area as well. Through the hatches they open up through stock and through main hallway. It's going to give them a few angles to look onto the players here, but they're not careful. Mozzie's going to find some easy picks here looking up into these hatches, as he is already holding those angles, so anybody who steps into that line of fire is more than likely going to lose. They spotted the Vigil, but I'm not sure if they know the Mozzie is playing close by. Ooh, good bit of damage getting onto the Mozzie, or the Vigil, through the wall there, and that's actually going to be Saba going down from the IQ as he's able to find the pick. Mozzie is still playing very close by, waiting to catch the drop on these players here. As they do have the bulletproof cam, so he's entirely aware of their position right now. He's just going to wait for the right moment to strike and deal maximum damage to this opposing team as we make our way into the last 45 seconds of this round, but he's going to need to do it quickly if he looks to maximize his efforts. The attackers will quickly move on and position themselves elsewhere as they look to make a site execute in the final seconds of this round. We'll see the Echo playing a pretty tight angle looking into the main entrance garage there. I think they do have a player all the way down main stairs already, though. They have two within servers. That's going to be Ash and IQ with the Volcano there. They're going to have to be careful pushing forward. We do see the Nomad sitting within the main entrance. Hot Tub finds a kill. That's going to put them at 4v3, but Velocity finding 3 on the round, or Hot Tub finding 3 on the round. Velocity finds 1. We're looking at 3v1 though. This is the Echo if he has the Okai positioned properly, but he was just a second too late to deny the plant. Very, very close. Nice try from the Echo, but it's not looking like this is going to be the round that shuts this match out just yet. We look at 3v1, and this is a pretty hard site retake for anybody in any position. He's going to peek out. He's going to have 3 attackers looking his way as the IQ peeks back into sight and grabs an easy kill on the Vito. And I believe that's going to be 4 kills on the round for a Hot Tub. Huge round as he entirely shapes the way that goes for his team. They keep having individual performances like that. They're going to have no problem bringing this back up into a tie as we head into possibly overtime if they're able to win one more round. Head to Teller's archives once again. I do believe the defenders found a relatively decisive win here, as it did come down to a 1v1, but it would have been a miracle if the attackers would have been able to pull it off in the first place. So, see if they're able to find the success as we do see them pick off Mira. Thankfully, once again, thanks to both these teams for making sure that they don't bring any of the banned ops. My apologies to them for forgetting to do so on the rehost. But luckily they 6-pick off, and we are going to keep this matchup going. As I said, they found some pretty good success on this site once before. As I would say it's less traditional, so maybe attacking teams aren't as practiced on this site execute. As to where claiming the top floor in open area is pretty self-explanatory. Getting the site execute once you've done so can be pretty tricky dealing with those roamers if they still are holding a good bit of utility on the site there. Looks like we will see a few players on the roam. That will be necessary, as there's a lot of soft destruction to be had from the attacking team if they get up into CEO and Lounge early on.
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
Looks like they're going to head straight on up to the second floor here. Looking into main lobby and ATMs just to see if they can catch any players looking for a pick on the rappel here.
Ready. He's ready.
But I really like to see that wall get opened up, as that really can be just such a strong position for the Legion playing with an elevator, or possibly anybody coming up or down from main stair there. So I like this sight hold from the defense, and it seems like the attackers have struggled a bit. At least the last time they had to push here. But they will make their way into the second floor, as I said, and get to work on some soft destruction. Now this can make things a lot easier for them, as the defenders will have to be extremely careful as they make their way around site now for the remainder of this round. As it is very hard to tell once you're safe. Oh, he's going to spot the feet. He's going to do a bit of damage onto the mute, but he's going to get away, sitting at about 75 health. Still a good bit of damage done. And he's going to find an easy kill. Nice headshot on the Jet Hunter from Swimmer there. And that's going to put them in a good position. 5v4 with a minute and a half left to go in this round, as they begin to open up a bit of sight here with your utility. The defenders do have a couple of people sitting in some pretty strong positions, though, in order to grab a nice flank later on in this round if need be. So the attackers will have to make note of that if they hope to make their way in without punishment. See them holding an angle from blue. At the Jaeger's position on South Main. Just looking to cover any possible flanks, though. Like the Nomad has made use of her air jabs early on, and that's going to be Kojin with a kill. He's actually going to find two as he's looking into sight and having quite the time, as he's going to find 2 kills and open this up for the attacking team. And we look at a 5v2. This is looking very much like we're going to see an overtime at this point, as that's Trevmark down. Hot Tub's been having an extremely nice half. And they're just going to have to play this smart, and that's a flawless round. Velocity finding the final kill onto Saba, and we head into overtime. So, what was looking like a very tall order proved to be extremely winnable for the attackers, as they have made their way back into an extremely leveled game. We're looking at overtime, and they have momentum on their side, as I believe the past 3 or 4 rounds even have gone their way. And they're going to be on attack once again. So that momentum will continue to swing in their favor if players like Hot Tub and Swimmer are able to continue that up, and Kojin even on the last round actually getting those 2 big picks looking in through Teller's door, or maybe just catching the defenders off guard there, but nonetheless finding extreme success.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Alright, so they head back down to CC lockers. Swift Uprising has found success on a lot of these sites just in the recent rounds. The attackers have made the proper adjustments to grab these victories.
Bomb located by attackers.
But while I do enjoy their investment in the roam up top, it seems as though they might need to make a few adjustments if they look to hold off these attackers for just a little bit longer, make them a bit more uncomfortable in the final moments of those site executes.
5 seconds to insertion. Attackers are
You see a relatively similar setup. We're going to see the Kaid get brought out here to deny those hatches instead of the Goyo, so we won't see a lot of those reinforcements coming out on the top floor that we saw earlier on, but we will see them dedicate.
A bomb has been located.
Jaeger to the roam. Looks like they're actually going to have the rest of their players sit downstairs, so lessening the roam game a bit here, as Jaeger is actually playing within stock, looking to catch the attackers off guard, but they're going to send 2 drones in, so there's no way he's not going to go spotted. So he drops down into open area wisely to live for another day. The attackers continue to clear out that second floor with the drones to give their entries the okay as they make their way into the building. Kojin playing on that west main lobby, hoping to catch any defenders rotating as they got cleared out. We'll see Ash moving into, it looks like CEO. So they do grab second floor control with just a minute to go in this match. Do spot the rotates on the first floor here. It's going to make them weary of a presence, but the defenders have moved down at this point. So they have very little to worry about, and I'm sure they will realize that here shortly and get to work with the hard breach utility. But they are going to have to deal with those electro claws on the hatch, as it looks like they opted to cover up red and the lobby hatch over top of server. So unworried about the CC hatch, which is odd because that is a very popular hatch to hold for the attackers if they're able to get the plant down. Okay, we do see the CC hatch get opened up. It's one exothermic out the board. We're gonna see Sledge actually making his way down main stair, but that's Jaeger able to find a kill onto Hot Tub, and I guess the IQ was making her way through Garage. Hot Tub's been having really nice rounds in the past few pushes for the attackers here, so it's a big kill for Saba to take the IQ off the board. Alright, now we're seeing a few engagements get taken by the attackers through that CC hatch. Gets hit by the air jab, but honestly, that was the perfect time for him to get hit by it, as there's not going to be any capitalization off that, and they can now safely rotate through that room besides the hatch. But that's Kojin with the kill there, as he continues his streak, finding another on this round. Looking in through that main entrance door on Garage there. We look at 4v4. Similar health setup on both sides. The attackers are just sinking their teeth in around side, as Ash is going to go for a really aggressive drop, and Vito's going to find 2 huge kills. That's going to be an impressive shot with the TCSG. They do have control over Diffuser now. They're just going to have to sit tight. So we're looking at 4v2. He's going to find another kill. Nice shot with the Magnum there. That's a triple on the round for Vito. Jet Hunter finishes this one out, and that's going to go the way of Swift Uprising. They take the lead in this overtime. Alright. So nice job by Swift Uprising to at least halt the momentum coming out from Hated Knights there for a moment, as Hot Tub is having an extremely phenomenal game. Even after the rehost flaunting numbers like 14 kills and Vito finding 10 as well. So a lot of these players, including Slimmer and Jet Hunter, just putting up a lot of numbers for their teams, at least getting the picks that they need to take these opening engagements in the earlier parts of the rounds. We head up into Executive CEO. We're going to see Hated Knights on defense. Are they able to bring that same level of play that they brought from attack onto the defensive hold here? I do like to see them go to Executive CEO, as we've seen a lot of play in the basement here in the past few rounds.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
And Swift Uprising was really keeping it fresh with that Teller's Archives hold as well, so even though they weren't able to find success the second time around, which brought us into overtime. Still some nice site setups coming from both teams. Definitely enjoy seeing a good bit of variety there. We will see Hot Tub play pretty aggressive within stock again. He's been enjoying this position, setting up a few pests on those windows, hoping to deny any drones as they hop in. They will be unable to avoid that pest in its current position if they don't spot the notification quick enough.
Objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
See a good chunk of then spawn and alley access here, so they're going to look to make their way up into the second floor pretty quickly. Get some eyes looking down skylights. Halt the rotations on any defenders, getting themselves placed for the roam here. We have seen some pretty solid drone work coming out from both teams. But the Ash is droning herself in right now, which could cost her, as any intel she gathers is going to be relatively new, but she's going to grab the kill on the Swimmer regardless. Nice shot coming out from Saba there. So he's able to find the kill onto the Jaeger, and that's going to give them a good bit of first floor control here, which is exactly what they needed, with just a minute into this round. So well done, but Vito goes down. That's going to be the Mozzie inside of stock, finding the kill on the Sledge here. Looks like they do have an attacker trying to make their way up to the window here to support, and if they get there quick enough, they're definitely going to be able to do so, as the Mozzie keeps getting a bit more thirsty. Alright, there he goes. He's going to back off wisely. I probably could have switched on to the Thermite there. My apologies, but the attackers are going to be able to get the revive safely, it seems, as Mozzie backs off. and looks to fight for his team later on in this round. The Buck is situated on the first floor as well, and that's going to be a good bit of soft destruction down here. The attackers, he's going to look up into the hatch, and they're going to be peeking in a very aggressive angle. Nice shotgun kill looking down through the janitor closet hatch there from Kojin. And he's been playing very, very well in the final rounds of this game, so probably the best time to step up and take control for your team, as they will look to flush him out of this janitor's closet. Ash is going to get aggressive, toss a few flashbangs, and it gets peeked from the crouch level punch hole, and that's going to be Mozzie finding the nice kill out of janitor's closet onto Saba. We're looking at 4v3. The attackers down a man and pretty low on health for the sledge. They do get a good bit of utility off here though, because that will open up a lot of angles for them looking into sight. Sledge is going to make his way into stock. Push out the hallway. He's going to spot the yokai, and he should be able to get an easy pick on the yokai here. There it goes.
Bomb located by attackers.
Unable to escape the sights of Sledge. He gets one yokai off the board. That's going to be a good bit of info taken away from the defenders there. And Velocity finds one on the Vito, though, and that's exactly what they needed to put themselves in a 4v2. This is looking very much their way now. That's Hot Tub with 2 kills. Kojin with the last, and the defenders win. And we are looking at 7-7. So both teams unable to shake one another here, as we are trading rounds back and forth. We head on into round 15. Hot Tub pulling it together once again. 2 kills for his team there. Not to take anything away from the other players on either of these teams, as there have been some pretty outstanding performances from each player. And it seems as though a lot of these players are able to perform when needed in those clutch moments. But we head into the match point. Which team will come out on top? We head into Executive CEO. We're going to see Swift Uprising on defense. And at this point in overtime, I believe we've only seen 2 defensive wins. So as the attackers, you've got to be feeling a bit iffy, but Hated Knights was able to bring this back all the way into overtime with the attacking efforts of the second half, though. This is really anyone's game as we head into the final round. Going to see Castle come back out to barricade off that front desk. That makes the defenders feel quite comfy, at least until they hear that utility getting used, and they place a good bit of barb on the spiral stair as well. So if they do go for a rush up main stair, it is going to be heard. They will have to dispatch all of the barb, open up the barricaded windows, which is just a very tall task for the attacking team.
10 seconds remaining.
Which does kind of push them into this east side hold, which we've seen them dedicate a good bit to.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Door secure.
They will need the Echo to stay up in the final moments of this round, as I do believe they've had a little bit of trouble keeping Echo alive until the end, as that is typically why you bring him in the first place, as he's just so crucial for the defenders, as he can deny those plants multiple times if both the Okais are placed properly. But typically they will have one playing somewhat off-site. As they see the attackers heading into stock already, that's Hot Tub looking to make his way in, make his presence known early on, as he's been able to find these early picks. And there's one, as I say, we're going to see Saba get taken off the board, and that's an easy kill for IQ, as the call had to have come out from stock there. I don't know why Jaeger decided to run straight across from main stair. Interesting decision making, or maybe there's just a lack of communication on the attacker's position. But nonetheless, we see Hated Knights take a 5-4 lead with just a minute into this round. That's going to give them a little bit of control over stock as well. We're going to see them put a good bit of pressure onto front desk there, as Trevmark actually finds a kill on the Hot Tub. So that's the IQ off the board, and that's going to be another kill for Trevmark, as he's able to find Swimmer with the MPX. Really, really nice run from Trevmark there, as